Hello dear World of Warcraft friends, welcome back to a new video on my channel. Do you like Silvermoon? Then I have some really good news for you, because this beautiful site that we get to see here, you can use as your login screen in the future, or more precisely as your Warband campsite, as it's called. In other words, in patch 12.1, there are two new themes you can use as a background or campsite for your Warband. We'll take a look at which ones those are in this video and how you can get them. Let me just say, they look really awesome. And we'll also take another look at the current Mythic Plus player numbers, because there's been a surprising upswing. Both topics combined in one video. We're on our way to 38,000 subscribers. If you want to support me with that, feel free to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for your support, and with that, let's get started. Let's first take a quick look at the player numbers in Mythic Plus. And in fact, for the first time in 4 months, we actually have an increase in player numbers to report here. The last time we saw that was from week 2 to week 3. So, about 15 weeks ago. Almost 4 months. Back then, the player numbers went up a bit, and this time they did too. The numbers don't include China, simply for the reason that you can compare them with those from the War Within, because back then there was no data for China since the servers were partly down. Last week we had 434,000 runs, now it's 471,000. Compared to the first week, that's down by 86 runs. At this point, the War Within Season 3 was at minus 89.7%. War Within Season 2 was at minus 77%, and War Within Season 1 was at minus 78%. So what stands out here is Midnight was over the past few weeks sometimes very, very far behind Seasons 1 and 2 of the War Within. But by now they're getting closer and closer. Because for example here, Season 1 in terms of weeks came here. Then sometimes minus 8%, minus 4%, minus 4%. And here in Midnight Season 1, it's currently about minus half, then again minus 1. Then it's stabilized again. So it seems relatively constant at this point. And if it keeps going like this, who knows? Maybe in week 20 or 21 we'll even be really close to the seasons. It doesn't mean much anymore now, and it's normal for seasonal games. Yeah, it's a normal cycle for it to happen like this. But still, it's quite interesting to see that apparently more people are active again. Otherwise, we see here the completion or in-time rate is at 93.7%. So almost 94% of all runs are in time. Funnily enough, my runs never work out. Although I should mention here, runs that are ended early by vote kick or an abandoned vote don't count here. And what's also interesting this week, we've seen a big increase in +2 keys. That's very, very interesting. So here, from week 17 to 18, we had 12,000 more +2 keys. So that's the biggest increase in all key categories. As for why, we can only speculate at this point. I could imagine that towards the end of the season, a few people leveled up a character again and started getting into Mythic Plus there. At least to get some entry-level gear for the new season. But yeah, those are the current player numbers. It remains the same. Most runs are in the 10 range, followed by the 12 keys. And with that, let's take a look at how the new login screens look, or the Warband campsites. Yeah, personally, I'm a really, really big fan of those things. I think it's cool that you have variations and can choose different images for different characters or for different warbands. First we have this one, the Silvermoon City campsite. So this is the regular view of Silvermoon, as I just showed you. And it's pretty much seen from the south, so the viewpoint is from here each time. Looks really, really cool. And here you have to imagine up to 4 characters are sitting around. However you like, you get this campsite through the quest Unity Against the Void. That's a weekly quest that you get from Liadrin, and I have to say, you'll probably play it one way or another. Because that's how you get the new sparks or spark dust to craft items. You can get the quest easily right here from Liadrin. And she has weekly tasks ready for you, just like you're used to here. You can choose which ones you want to do, just go in there. And in the end, you have to complete this quest 4 times to get 4 of these Silvermoon Citizen emblems. And once you have them after 4 weeks, this campsite will be yours. And it's the same with the second one, the Silvermoon Void campsite. And here too, this thing looks really awesome. It's from the same angle as number 1. As you can see here, it has exactly the same elements on it. So here too, this little pouch and the books next to it and so on. But with the, yeah. With this beam coming out of the Sunwell, which we knew from the first few weeks of the game. And here it works similarly. There's a new quest from Veresa called Trailing Salatath. There you have to fill the bar at the end, collecting 100 Void Whispers. You can get all of this from dungeons, delves, treasure chests, and rare mobs, so however you want. And you'll also get a reward from this, Void Vestige. And in the end, you need 4 of those. Then this screen will be yours. This quest also gives you the sparks in theory. However, you only get 1 per week. That's why, yeah, I would recommend just doing both weekly quests for 4 weeks. Then these screens will be yours. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I really like it. What's your opinion on this? Feel free to write it in the comments. And with that, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Take care.